everybody, and welcome back to another One of Everything Wednesdays. I am your host, MrBevers. That's right, we're back again with Koros Games, located in Orangeville, Ontario. We're back with episode 3. We've got 20 packs left to go. We're going to get our prices up in the bottom right corner. If you're unfamiliar with the One of Everything series, basically what I'm doing is I'm walking around, or driving around in this case, to LGS's in and around the Ontario region, and basically hitting them up and buying one of every pack that they have to offer. So basically what we do is we crack open the packs 10 at a time per episode, and then we put anything of value, of note, anything over $1 essentially, into the patron pile. The patron pile is a pile of cards that essentially everyone in my patron that is at one of the, it's like the $8 tier or higher, essentially the magic tiers, they get one of the cards from the patron pile every month mailed out to them, and it's just sort of like as a thank you for helping keep the Kraken packs alive. And that's in addition to whatever the other rewards are for the tiers, right? So that's just an additional thing that, just because basically all the patron money that I get, everything from Patreon, goes right into buying these packs for this series, because some of them can get pretty pricey, as you're well aware. Let's move on and just go to the next pack, I guess, right? The next set of packs. And so we're going to start today with Betrayers of Kanagawa and make our way to Mercadian Masks. So 10 packs there, and let's get right into it and get started, right? Can you guys see those packs if I put them right there? Yeah, you can. All right, good. Little command zone thing right there. So in Betrayers of Kamigawa, we have a number of things here to keep our eyes out for. We only have one common, and that is the Mistblade Shinobi. It's the only one of note. And speaking of, there it is right there. The little 1/1 with ninjutsu. So let's scan it and see what it comes back as. There you go, $1.42. Says it's from Plane Chase. Not really, but it's close. But let's see what else we can find in here. I know that there used to be a couple other ones in Betrayers as well that were close to $1. I think there was a Kami that was also close. Not so much there in the rest of them. That's okay. We'll put them over to the side there. Let's check the uncommons out. We've got a bunch of uncommons. We've got Walker of Secret Ways, Throat Slitter, Tallow Wisp, and Flames of the Blood Hand. Genji of the Fens is not one of those. Faithful Squire, also not one of those. And Sowing Salt, also not on the list of uncommons, unfortunately. But that's okay. Let's check out what our rare is. Our rare is a Slumbering Torah, which is, I think I remember seeing this card when we did our Saviors box, and I kind of looked at it and I went, that's weird. So it's a 3-mana artifact. That's it. Just a 3-mana artifact. But then you can pay to and discard a Spirit or Arcane card, and it becomes an XX artifact creature until end of turn, where X is the discarded card's converted mana cost. So it can be big or it can be small. You know, it's not really worth anything, but that's okay. It's an interesting little artifact. Speaking of artifacts, let's move into Fifth Dawn. Fifth Dawn, for those of you who aren't familiar or don't remember or maybe weren't playing at the time, Fifth Dawn was the third installment of the original Mirrodin block. That's right, not the Scars of Mirrodin block, the original Mirrodin block. So you'll see right there, we've got cranial plating up front and center. Now, the commons, we do have some here. We've got Serum Visions, right? Most of you should know that. And Wayfarer's Bauble. Those are the commons. However, Cranial Plating was a solid card during this set. Little 2-mana artifact equipment that says +1/+0 for each artifact you control. But not only does it have an equip cost, which you can only do as a sorcery, it also has 2 black to equip it. And that's, as you can see, it's not a sorcery, because it's not the actual equip keyword. It's an ability of the card that says pay 2 black, attach it to target creature you control. So you could do it at instant speed, which is nice. So if we're looking through here, we're looking for just those 2 commons. There's Mana Geysers, another good one. Another thing to note here, I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, but you can see the red sources here, right? And they're quite red, like the background of them is red. Well, this has a red source down here in the bottom, but it's gray. It doesn't have the red background. I believe this was around the time that they made the change, so like it used to be like this and then they changed it back. I think that's what it was. I can't remember exactly. There's some information around what was the cause of this. Maybe it was because it was the artifact set. I can't remember. But there's something, it's interesting, right? That is gray instead of the color. Alright, so we didn't hit any of the commons, but that's okay. We're going to look at the uncommons now. We've got a whole bunch, right? We've got Steel Shaper's Gift, Crack Clan Ironworks, Blast Station, Magnetic Theft, Eternal Witness, Grinding Station, Paradise Mantle, Knight's Whisper, Lantern of Insight, Grafted Exoskeleton, Grafted Wargear, I should say, Relentless Rats, Gemstone Array. There's like a whole bunch here. Magma Jet is not there. Avarice Totem is not there. And Fangren Pathcutter is also not there. So we missed out on all the uncommons, unfortunately, but that's okay. Let's see what our rare is. Ooh, our rare is a Staff of Domination, which is actually just a solid card. I think this has been banned in a number of formats, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Can you scan it? There it is. Whew! How about that? How about a $37 rare right there? That's pretty spicy. That's pretty spicy. That'll find its way into the patron pile. Spicy, spicy. Alright, so now we're on to Scourge, which is one of the sets that I sort of like played a bunch during high school. So I remember quite a lot of these cards. I have fond memories of playing with a lot of them. Of course, in the common slot, all we've got is the Carrion Feeder. But also you're back into like sort of the older style border now. You can see Kanagawa has like the newer border with like the thin border with kind of like the wavy colors and stuff, whereas this is like the old thick colored border with the hard lines around it, and you can see like this has got like kind of a rounded box around the names and stuff, whereas this is just typed right into the border, right? So we're into the old card frame now, right? Hey, speaking of Carrion Feeder, there he is. Carrion Feeder's a nice little card. Still seeing play, I believe, in Pauper, I want to say. And possible that seeing play in Modern as well, or something like that. So there you go. Nice $1.18 common right there. We'll take it. I don't think we'll see another one, but we will scan through these just, you know, quickly through the commons, because why not? And now we're on to the uncommons, and there's a Brain Freeze, which I remember this card from back in the day, and also just because people enjoy to play it in Storm decks, right? So it's target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, and Storm, right? For 2 mana at instant speed, seems pretty good. In fact, Brain Freeze is actually on this list here of commons and uncommons worth over $1, so there you go. Then we've got Chill Haunting, which is not on the list, it doesn't look like. Nope. And then Elvish Aberration, this is the one that was reprinted in Eternal Masters? Was it Eternal Masters that had this one, or was it Masters 2017? I can never remember which one is the one that has this, but it's basically they did a reprint of it. And our rare is a Trap Digger. A little 1/3 for 4. That says, pay 2 and a white, put a trap counter on target land you control. Sacrifice a land with a trap counter on it. Trap Digger deals 3 damage to target attacking creature without flying. So it's kind of very situational, and it's a 1/3 for 4, so it's not particularly amazing, and you can see that reflected in its price. However, I'm sure there's someone out there who has found some jank deck for it, and that's amazing. So Legions is next. Now, Legions was, again, another set that was out while I was in high school, so we played quite a bit of this one as well. These sets were very tribal heavy. So you've got like the soldiers and the goblins and the elves and that kind of stuff across these sets. This set had quite a bit of slivers in it, if I remember correctly. And so looking at there's no commons in this set that are worth anything, but there are a few uncommons, right? So we'll just kind of quickly go through. So like here you go, Crypt Sliver, right? It's a 1/1, regenerate all slivers. We'll scan it just to make sure that it doesn't show up. Maybe it's not going to scan. Let's see. There we go. Crypt Sliver. See, it's like a 54-cent sliver, so it's not too shabby, but it's not over $1, so it doesn't make its way into the patron pile. Ah, yes, and all the morph stuff was in this set too, right? Yeah. Lots of morph. There's another sliver. See, there you go. Skirk Drill Sergeant. When Skirk Drill Sergeant or another goblin is put into your graveyard from play, you may pay 2 and a red. If you do, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a goblin card, put it into play. Otherwise, put it into your graveyard. Alright, so we're looking at uncommons now, and we're looking for Root Sliver, Shifting Sliver, Noxious Ghoul, Wirewood Channeler, and Ward Sliver, as well as Master of the Veil, Corpse Harvester. Primok Escapee? Primok Escapee. There it is. 4/4 flyer for 7. It's a lot of mana for a 4/4 flyer. And then we have a 5/4 with Amplify 1. Right, so Amplify is, as this card comes into play, put a 1/1 counter on it for each zombie card you reveal in your hand. But it has Trample. So you can Amplify it 1 for... So you put a 1/1 counter on it for each card that you reveal that is a zombie. So cost 7. Chances are by the time you're playing this, you probably don't have a handful of zombies, but maybe you do. So you could end up with like a 7/6 or an 8/7 Trample for 7 mana, which is not, you know, the end of the world, but it's not the best. And that's it for our uncommons, so we didn't get there on the uncommons. Still no foil either, but we did get a nice little Elvish rare here, the Elvish Soul Tiller. Coming in at 51 cents, look at that, high priced. But it's a 5/4 for 5 that says, when Elvish Soul Tiller is put into a graveyard from play, choose a creature type, shuffle all creature cards of that type from your graveyard into your library. Very good to, you know, recoup your deck against mill and board wipes and that kind of stuff. Onslaught is next. Again, another one that has a fair number of tribes and stuff in it. Also, I believe we can get fetch lands in this, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's the case. So, again, doesn't look like any commons of note in here. Yeah. But there are a bunch of uncommons. The only common I saw there on the list was Well-Wisher, and it was just under $1. So if we see it, we'll scan it and just see. But otherwise, we will not. And there it is. There's the Well-Wisher. Let's see. Do you come out at $1? Oh. There it is. See? 94 cents. We'll put it in there. It's close. It's close. I'll just put it with one of the other cards. You know, like I'll put it with something else for the patrons. So, let's look at the uncommons now. The uncommons, we've got Wirewood Lodge, Chain of Vapor, Aphedo Alchemist, Blackmail, Soulless One, Explosive Vegetation, Dwarven Blast Miner, and Kamal's Summons. Aphedo Grifter is not the one. We're looking for the Alchemist. Tap 2 untapped wizards you control. Tap target permanent. Invigorating Boon. Improvised Armor. And our rare, Words of Wind. So no fetch land for us, unfortunately. That's alright, though. Words of Wind comes in at $10. It's pretty nice. So it's a little 3-mana enchantment for a blue and 2. And it says, pay 1. The next time you would draw a card this turn, each player returns a permanent he or she controls to its owner's hand. Now we got Judgment. Judgment again, another set that I was playing heavily during high school. And we do have a couple commons. We've got Flaring Pain, Prismatic Strands, and Swirling Sandstorm is close. So we will take a quick peek here at the commons. I mean, we've been doing that for all of them anyway, just to show off the old cards. Because who doesn't like to look at the old cards, right? Folk Medicine, Arcane Teachings. I remember this card. I played this card a bunch back in the day. Ear-Splitting Rats, Defy Gravity, Lava Dart. Good old Lava Dart with flashback. Now we're into the uncommons. So in the uncommons in Judgment, we've got a few. We've got Cabal Therapy, Anger, Filth, Grisly Fate, Battle Screech, Planar Chaos, Crozen Verge, and Soul Catcher's Airy. Wormfang Crab is not there. It's not on the list. But look at this thing. It's a 3/6 for 4, and it's unblockable. It comes into play, an opponent chooses a permanent you control and removes it from the game. When this leaves play, return the removed card to play under its owner's control. So it's like they get to remove something of yours from play. It's interesting though, because so when this comes into play, an opponent chooses a permanent you control and removes it from the game. When this leaves play, return the removed card. So you could have an endless loop with this card. Because the opponent could pick this card because it's come into play. Not when you cast it, it's when it comes into play. You could pick this card because it doesn't say pick another permanent. I'm assuming they've errated it probably to say another permanent. But so you could pick the crab when it comes into play, which then exiles the crab, but then that puts the crab back into play because the crab has left play. But then it triggers the things again because it comes into play, so then they get to pick a new... That's kind of weird. That's a weird thing. I don't know how I feel about that. Tunneler Worm. And Chastise. Destroy target attacking creature, you gain life equal to its power. There you go. And our rare... Test of Endurance. So here you go. The tests were an interesting thing in this format. It was like an alternate win con. There was, I believe, one in each color. So the white one was at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have 50 or more life, you win the game. Not a thing that's hard to do in some formats. So there you go. Yeah, it comes in at a whopping $9. So we'll take it. That's a nice hit for us. Apocalypse. So we've added quite a few things to the patron pile this week so far, which is pretty nice. We've got Apocalypse next. Okay, so uncommons on the front, which means what? 1, 2, 3, and then the rare. So then our common should be here, right? Yeah, there we go. And in the common slot, we only have one, which is the Standard Bearer. Ah, yes, but Apocalypse had a lot of these, where it's like the multicolor cards, the old gold cards. So this is where the gold comes from way back, right? I mean, there were gold cards before this set, but like, yeah, that's the old gold border for those of you who have seen the new gold cards and are like, yeah, okay. That's what the old gold cards look like. It looks like this. Like, look how different that is now, right? Quite a bit different. I like the old gold border a lot. Bloodfire Infusion, Angelic Crusader, Temporal Spring. I believe the Standard Bearer is a white card. Yeah, it's a white card. Zombie Boa, Razorfin Hunter, Merfolk Goblin. What a weird mix. Shimmering Mirage, and we're into our uncommons now. So in the uncommons, we only got two. We've got Dragon Arch and Goblin Ringleader. So Daga Sanctuary is not so much. And then we've got Night and Day. Right? 1 mana black instant. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Or 2 and a white for an instant that says creatures target player controls get +1/+1 until end of turn. Alright. And we've got a Foul Presence enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1 and has tap. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Interesting. And our rare is Anavolver. Anavolver. What a weird card. I don't think I've ever seen this card. So it's a 3 mana, 1 green for a 3/3, but it has a kicker of 1 and a blue and or a black. So you can pay both. If you paid the 1 and a blue kicker cost, Anavolver comes into play with 2/1/1 counters on it and it has flying. So it becomes a 5/5 flyer for 6. Okay. If you paid the black kicker cost, Anavolver comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it and has pay 3 life regenerate Anavolver. So if you pay both kickers, which is a 7 total, you end up with a 6/6 flying regenerate. Like pay 3 life to regenerate. Seems interesting and cool. What did it come in at? 24 cents. It's not highly sought after, but it seems like an interesting card to me. It seems like an interesting card. So we've got Plane Shift. Plane Shift next. Let's see what we find. Open up here, Plane Shift. Come with me. Hey, there's a Star Compass. I think that's going to be something of note. That's going to be from the uncommon slot, of course. So, of course, we've got the uncommons on front. So 1, 2, 3. And our rare. That puts our commons here, and our commons, the only commons we're looking for are Sunscape Familiar and Terminate. Now, I didn't play at all during this set, so a lot of this stuff is sort of like new to me, or at least not familiar anyway. There will be a few things here and there that I noticed that are familiar, just because, you know, I did play with friends who were playing around this time. So, you know, they would have had these cards in their deck and that kind of stuff. Gerard's Command, or some of these things may have been reprinted, so I recognize them. The Kavus are a very popular thing. I remember one of my buddies having a Kavu deck back in the day, and he was using the Flame Tongue Kavu, and like bouncing it and cloning it and all that kind of stuff. I remember he enjoyed it quite extensively. Bogged Down. Alright, so none of the commons. We didn't see a Sunscape Familiar or a Terminate. But in the uncommons, we're definitely going to see Star Compass on here. It's $1.20 for Star Compass. And then we're also looking for Terminal Moraine, Koros Catacombs, and so it comes up as 80 cents, but that's okay. We'll find a home for it. We've got Sawtooth Loon, which, like, look at that ridiculous art on that. Like, that is one nasty looking bird, let me tell you. It's like its wings are actually like talons in addition to the talons it has on its feet, which is pretty crazy. And we've got a Gainsay, which I remember this. This saw a reprint, I believe, in a previous or another set just recently. But none of the uncommons. So we've Terminal Moraine, Koros Catacombs, Treva's Ruins, and Star Compass. And our rare, Aquarion Dryad. So it's a 1/1 for 2. Whenever you play a white, blue, black, or red spell, put a 1/1 counter on it. I'm assuming this is going to be okay? I don't know. Let's see. 31 cents? Oh, I guess it's not. But it seems like a good card for a nice 5-color deck, that's for sure. We got Nemesis. I guess it doesn't give you the benefit when you play other green spells, though. That's the real problem, I guess, right? So uncommons on the front. 1, 2, 3. And our rare. It's interesting, we haven't hit any foils yet either, which is kind of interesting. So, Nemesis, we've got a couple commons here. We've got Daze and Skyshroud Claim. Skyshroud Cutter, Seal of Fire. So again, another one where I didn't really play too much during this set, so I don't recognize a lot of these cards. Oh, okay. Man, that is quite the beast. It's like a crab. Why didn't they make it a hominid, right? Isn't that what they should have done? Voracious Hunger. I've seen this card many times. This art is used for a number of things. Lawbringer. Alright, so then we're into the uncommons. So we didn't see any of the commons. No Daze and no Skyshroud. And the uncommons, we've only got one. Terrain Generator. So, Rathy's Fiend. Mind Slash. 3-mana enchantment. Sacrifice a creature, look at target opponent's hand, and choose a card from it. That player discards that card. Place ability only if you could play a sorcery. Huh. That seems interesting. Yeah, it comes up as a 76-cent uncommon. There you go, it's like 89 cents. We'll find a home for that. Flowstone Thopter. 4/4. And our rare, Volrath the Fallen. Look at that. Look at that casting cost. 3 and black for a 6/4. Pay 1 and a black, discard a creature card from your hand. Volrath the Fallen gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the discarded card's converted mana cost. This is a thing you can do with Voltron, right? Because it's also a legend. So you can actually do like a Voltron commander deck with this guy, right? Where you just have like a bunch of beefy creatures that you just discard, right? Isn't that how that works? Yeah, so this is only 54 cents, but this is an interesting legend card. So you can, I mean, it costs 6, which is not cheap, right? But you could definitely make something interesting with it. And, like, you know, pitch things like Eldrazi's and things to him to pump him up a whole bunch and get in, right? So we're last but not least this week, and that's a Marcadian Masks pack. And we have a whole bunch of commons in Marcadian's Masks. and a whole bunch of uncommons as well. So we've got Gush, Spider Silk Armor, Snuff Out, Ancestral Mask, Counterspell, Brainstorm, all in the common slot. So let's see what we find. Now, Mercadian Masks, I didn't play a lot during Mercadian Masks, but I did buy a fair amount of Mercadian Masks in my college years because there was a shop down the street from where I was going to college that had them on the shelf for $2.99 a pack, and I was like, well, that set's older than I remember, so I'm gonna pick up all those packs, as many as I can. So whenever I just had money kicking around, I just picked them up, because why not, right? Alright, so we're on to our uncommons now. We didn't see Gush, Spider Silk Armor, Snuff Out, Ancestral Mask, or Counterspell. That's okay, though. In the uncommon slot, we've got a bunch. We've got Soothsaying, Coastal Piracy, Haunted Crossroads, Crenellated Wall, and Rishadan Footpad, and Credit Voucher. Saber Ants, not so much, though. A 2/3 for 4, and when it's dealt damage, you may put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens into play. Putrefaction. Whenever a player plays a white spell or green spell, that player discards a card from their hand. Mean. That's mean. Ramosian Captain. 2/2 for 3. First strike. Pay 5, tap, search your library for a rebel card with converted mana cost 4 or less. Put that card into play. And our rare is a Dust Bowl. It's Dust Bowl time. I think Dust Bowl is worth a couple bucks, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's, yeah, there you go. $11 for a Dust Bowl, so that's pretty nice. So add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, or pay 3 and tap it and sacrifice a land, destroy target non-basic land. Take it, right? Why not? Seems pretty good. Well, I mean, overall, we did pretty good. It looks like, based on what I'm seeing here, we're adding about $79 worth of value to the patron pile just from this week. So that's pretty snazzy. That Staff of Domination was a huge hit for us, coming in at like $37. And then we hit a bunch of other like $9 to $10 cards as well, right? Like we hit Dust Bowl, we hit Test of Endurance, and we hit, wasn't there another one? There was one more, wasn't there? Yeah, Words of Wind. Words of Wind coming in at like $10.77. So there you go. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to go check out Koros Games, their website, linked down below in the description. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.